Hey Virgos, welcome and welcome back to the Honey Sea Star Tarot. So this is going to be our weekly read from March 9th all the way to March 15th. And I will say, astrologically, this is a pretty exciting week. Before we get started though, I just wanted to say thank you guys to each and every one of you for all the ways that you love and support this channel and lift it up. Truly, you lift me up as well, and I love you back. So let's see what's in store for us here with the tarot. So like I say, this week is pretty exciting astrologically. So we start out the week with the moon being in Leo, which gives us confidence to take center stage and get out of our comfort zone. It gives voice to our heart through our creative expression, and also allows us to really let go of anything that has been holding us back from really putting ourselves out there. Any type of self-doubts, fears, anxieties, etc. And so it kind of gives us this confidence boost, particularly when it comes to expressing our creativity. Now on the 10th, oh my goodness, thank you. The moon is also going to be trine with Mercury, which the moon's in Leo, Mercury is in Aries. And so at this time, it brings a surge of confidence once again, creativity once again, and most importantly though, clear communication. This is where balance truly is key during this time, especially with this trine, because it encourages us to be more assertive, as well as to take initiative in our thoughts and in our actions. And so if you've had a lot of, things going on upstairs is how I would put it, a lot of ideas circulating the brain, not sure necessarily how to put them in action. This is really going to help you with being more assertive, taking that initiative, but putting thoughts into action to really create those masterpieces. And with the King of Cups, don't ask why I said that, but the King of Pentacles, excuse me. This is about achieving success of your long-term goals. It's all about a focus of your dedication and your stability. Also, too, it's looking forward to your prosperity. It's looking forward to your success. And more importantly, it's overcoming that mental hardship. It's an end of a period of depression. It's an end of recovery. And more importantly, it's the freedom of letting go that leads you through the healing process so that truly you can manifest your path to success of your long-term goals. And if that resonates, by all means, share your thoughts, your experience in the comments below, or just put a heart in the comments below. Because on the 11th, we also have Mercury being conjunct with Venus. Both are in Aries, and so there is a lot of fire in the atmosphere, astrologically speaking. This inspires our sense of manners, social talent, as well as aesthetic will. And so it brings on a need for direct, passionate communication in your relationships. And this leads to more open conversations, more honest conversations where you can really speak from the heart and come to the table with balance and harmony, as well as love in your partnerships. This is all about if you've been dealing with toxic relationships, dealing with conflict, dealing with aspects that really have just been quite difficult, I guess is how I would put it. This is where if you had been going through, as I would call it, a winter, basically, going through a period of depression or hardship, especially on the mind, and in your relationships, this is where you're choosing relationships, you're calling in relationships that are better balanced for you. They're healthy relationships that really help raise each other up, not tear each other down, that work towards a successful goal, a healthy goal, as opposed to basically what comes to mind is, someone once told me, and, I was too young and naive at the time to really take the message for what it was as to how she reflected on viewing me. But either way, she had told me basically, the strategy in war of you keep your friends close and you keep your enemies closer. And so anyway, if you've been dealing with the idea or finding yourself in a place where you've got more enemies closer to you than what feels like friendships that are true, If you've got people that are coming towards you that are really out for themselves, not out for truly the relationship, or not valuing the relationship for what you and them can bring to the table in healthy ways as opposed to what you can do for them, right? Not coming to the table with ulterior motives. This is a time where you're leading towards calling in those relationships that truly are meant for you. And to have those open and honest conversations that'll allow you to align with people in that healthy area, that healthy connection that truly builds each other up for success, that lifts each other up when you need it the most as well. And during this Aries energy, I just want to forewarn you, you may feel impulsive as well as feel blunt. This is a time where navigating this energy, particularly for Virgos, because we always lean or have a tendency to lean towards that structure, towards that order, it will also be a good challenge for us with bringing a need for mindfulness and awareness of the power of our words. This is a time really to remember that thoughts become things, how we talk to ourselves. Words hold spells. How we talk to each other, how we build each other up in our relationships. This is the time to really handle those words, handle those relationships, handle that energy with care. And if that resonates, by all means, put a heart in the comments below, because as we move towards the middle of this week, we also have the moon moving to Virgo. And this is where we are in our wheelhouse. And like I say, this is where too, through your relationships, what I really see with the tarot is that you've been guided with your intuition, especially when it comes to calling in the relationships that truly bring balance and harmony, as opposed to the toxicity that you were dealing with or having come towards you, I guess. But this is where truly you're standing in your feminine strength, and you're standing in your confidence, value, knowing what's truly meant for you, what's right for you, and also too what doesn't serve you, and letting that go with care. And with the moon in Virgo, it helps with us with our practicality, and particularly a focus on health. Not only in healthy relationships, healthy boundaries, also how we treat ourselves, how we care for ourselves. You may also find it, at this time that if you've been really wanting to make healthier choices with your habits, release old habits that are no longer serving you, this is the time to do so. It amplifies our need for order. It also amplifies our need for perfectionism. So just watch the overcritical aspects, the self-criticism. Watch how you talk to yourself, right? And how you talk to others, because those words, again, there's power in them. This is a time to use that energy for planning, for building structure, and for building wealth. But watch the self-criticism, because it can put you in a place that really leads to analysis paralysis, especially when you're focused so much on that perfectionism. Now, during this time as well, on the 12th, the Sun is going to be conjunct with Saturn. Both happen to be in Pisces at this time. And so it urges us really, in short, to get our professional lives together. If you've been feeling like you want to go somewhere, but or take something to a new level, but you're not necessarily, there's a learning curve to it. This is where you're taking the time to gain those new skills, to teach, to learn, to educate, but more importantly, to master through that dedication. And this is a time as well, like I say, where with the sun being conjunct with Saturn, it manifests itself as a strong internal struggle between the need for order and structure, and then the Pisces tendency to break down boundaries, break those molds, stand outside the box and shine. And so you may find during this time, like I say, where you're educating yourself, you're trying new things. It may lead to overwhelming feelings, so just be careful. It may lead to burnout or fear and anxiety. That's the point that Spirit really wants to caution you on, is to don't let those negative emotions rule your action, but instead keep pushing forward through that dedication, because truly the arrival of prosperity is meant for you. This is something that whatever you're working on, whatever you're learning, whatever you're trying to develop, it leads to a personal satisfaction and leaves you with a feeling of triumph. And it cannot come soon enough, because this week we also have the lunar eclipse. Just saying. Now, before we go to that, though, I do want to also point out that with the sun being conjunct with Saturn, especially with Virgos, and our perfectionism tendencies, it can lead to a cause of self-doubt, a need for solitude, and partially because of the overcritical aspects, but also too with the Pisces piece, it heightens our sensitivity to the world around us. And so now is really the time to stand as the Queen of Swords with that Libran energy and balancing out that Virgo energy with the Pisces energy. This is basically standing against conflict or against hard issues, things that are difficult, troubles, sadness, apathy, and instead use our action, use our thoughts, use our intellect to really perceive the situation, perceive what we need to learn, and stand in our principles, but also walk in our independence. This is not going with the flow when it comes to social norms, but instead standing with a balanced assertiveness and an emotional awareness that leads us towards our true calling in life. And if that resonates, by all means, share your thoughts in the comments below, because I am curious as a cat. These are difficult things, is how I would put it, that you're overcoming. And with the King of Swords in reverse, Queen of Swords and then King, that's kind of interesting. But either way, this is where, you've had a lot of what you've been witnessing, especially with the sensitivity with the world around you, is the negative influence basically coming towards you, the ulterior motives in relationships, the abuse of power that you've witnessed, or just knowing and feeling and seeing people come towards you with malice, with ruthless action, with hurtful action. And it's because they can, right? It's not because of anything that you're doing. You could feel that it's unjust. You could feel that it's just like, why are we choosing these negative vibrations with leading ourselves, leading the world in our choices and our actions and how we make peace, how we negotiate. And instead, walking into those, seeking that solitude to really reflect on them, but walk into them instead with looking at what's being given as opposed to what's being taken away or what's being kept, with a focus on your foundation, with a focus on your stability, but also with a focus on your solidarity. With the Four of Cups here, like I say, there's a lot of stuff coming at you here with ulterior motives, malice, negative aspects. If you let that rule you, this is where discontentment can kind of manifest, disappointment can manifest. Or two, if you've been, having these come at you, it could also lead to the idea of self-pity or basically that victim mentality. With the Four of Cups, this is an opportunity where really Spirit is saying, look at those shadows, look at the hurt, look at the feeling, the emotion behind it with that Cancer energy, and really reposition yourself, reevaluate yourself, look at what no longer serves you, because now is the time, especially as we walk into this lunar eclipse, now is the time to uncover those shadows, to see light, to shed light on those shadows, to see that heart chakra for what it is, and to know that you truly are a divine vessel of love, so that you can properly release and utilize that energy of the lunar eclipse. And like I say, I will do a separate reading on the lunar eclipse. I'll touch on it here today as well, but I'll do a separate reading, so stay tuned on it because it's quite powerful. We've got two eclipses, both a sun and a lunar in March. I'll try and do a reading for both, but the lunar eclipse is quite powerful this week. So as we prepare for it on the 13th, the moon is also going to be sextile with Mars. So the moon's in Virgo, Mars is in Cancer. This is going to actually help us because as we've now uncovered through the conjunction of the Sun and Saturn about this need for order and structure, breaking down boundaries, finding that internal push-pull, letting go of the vices and the restrictions that are holding you back, looking at how we can reposition ourselves through that reevaluation. The sextile between the moon and Mars manifests a positive blend of practicality, emotional sensitivity, and a strong desire to nurture and care. And so what comes to mind, and what came to mind especially during my meditation on this reading, was it's basically a time that brings focus to organized caregiving. How we care towards our new beginning, how we walk towards our prosperity rather than let the past restraints rule our choices into the future, but instead rather than having these vices keep us locked in chains. Instead, we find that harmony in the new beginning through that new positivity, through choosing love, through embracing our creativity, through raising our vibration, and more importantly, rising to our belief, to our faith in the divine and our spiritual calling. And so this is a time really with that emotional awareness and with that organized caregiving, not only to others but of ourselves, that we can look at that and walk forward into this lunar eclipse, into this full moon, with a balanced assertiveness. And so, like I say, between the 13th, the evening of the 13th, going into the morning of the 14th, we are blessed with a full moon in Virgo, and it's also a lunar eclipse. So it's known as the full worm moon because it really basically in Native American culture, it's the time where we really witness the worms, basically. The ground starts awakening and moving. It's the time to begin cultivating as we get ready for spring, basically. So it's quite beautiful, even though when you say it, the full worm moon, it sounds weird. But either way, with this time, we also have the Virgo blood moon eclipse, which also sounds kind of negative, but it's really not. The blood, if you look at it, is life, right? And so what kind of comes to mind is with this blood moon eclipse, it emphasizes themes towards healing, towards refinement. And so if you've been mourning, if you've been looking at despair, if you've been experiencing regret, or just struggling with a heavy heart, this is the time where it allows us to really let go and focus on the present, on cherishing the present, so that we can walk into a new cycle, so we can embrace the change, we can embrace the challenges, and more importantly, shine light on what needs to be changed, what no longer serves us. It really speaks to our sacral energy as well, our sacral chakra. And so if you've been blocked with your creativity due to misfortune, due to loss, due to grief, despair, or regret, this is a time where it really allows us to rekindle, realign that chakra, and more importantly, step into a life, birth new energy into our life to allow ourselves to actively seek what we desire. And if that resonates, by all means, put a heart in the comments below, share your thoughts in the comments below, or even like, share, and subscribe. That way we can help get this message out to as many Virgos as we can, because this is a time for all of us to rise to success. Now, just to forewarn you, spoiler alert, so Venus is in retrograde. That goes on from March 1st all the way into April 12th. So it'll be with us through to about the middle of April. This influences our relationships quite a bit. And then, spoiler alert, we also have Mercury retrograde beginning on the 15th here. So expect, that really affecting our communication. It can bring on frustrations due to miscommunications or anxieties due to the increased detail-oriented nature of us. Or it challenges our trust in our work, in the self, things like that. And so be prepared that during this blood moon eclipse, between Venus and Mercury's retrograde, it will highly influence our relationships and our communication during this period. Now, for this eclipse, it's tied to situations, discussions, and endeavors that really began in September of last year, in September of 2024. And so it stimulates an introspection and realignment and encourages us to evaluate, evaluate what is going well in our life, what needs to be adjusted, and it promotes doable actions that lead to increased integrity and clarity. And so if you were challenged by these aspects with regret, missed opportunities, even a fogginess that really makes you hesitate towards cherishing the present in the now. And if you've been feeling this, more importantly, since September, if you made a big change in September and you've kind of struggled with embracing it, say, this is where it gives us an opportunity, again, to evaluate what's going well, adjust what's not, and promote doable action that brings integrity and clarity to our success, to the table. And with the Queen of Wands, this is about tackling that shadow, tackling what no longer serves us, with an energy and an optimism that allows us to walk through that new cycle, embracing that sacral energy. And so this is where, if you had been feeling foggied, or if you've been feeling restrained, or maybe that you've just been feeling ungrounded, this is the time to really ground yourself. Take time to meditate during this eclipse. Shake off the old you. I can't do quotation marks with the card. The old you. There we go. And more importantly, fly. Rise like a phoenix towards your new beginning. And side tangent, if you are struggling with any grounding aspects, so I very humbly will do a little upsell for this, but I love music. Music therapy is amazing for its healing qualities, amazing for its grounding qualities, and chakra realignments and detoxifications. I don't necessarily know how to produce music. I've never done it before. I've always wanted to, though. It's like a big bucket list. So anyway, I just posted a video particularly on root chakra balancing. It's music therapy. I made it in a way where you can either meditate to it, play along with it as you meditate as well, with improv. Either way, check it out. Let me know what you think. If you're struggling with your grounded aspects, with your root chakra in general, with feeling like your feet are on the ground, particularly with your career, check it out. Meditate and utilize that energy while you're meditating to help get your feet back on the ground, and more importantly, invoke, manifest action through your creativity. Manifest action that brings you on the path to creating that vision as your greatest masterpiece in life. I'm just saying. It'll help you with your clear thinking. It'll help clear your head. And more importantly, it'll help you with shaking off that old you and rising like the phoenix that you're meant to be. Now, as I said too, Mercury retrograde is going to bless us. I use that term facetiously. On March 15th, now Mercury retrograde will actually take place all the way into April 7th. So it'll carry us through the end of March as well and impact us. And so don't be surprised during this time where it can bring on an anxiety when it comes to details. Also, too, miscommunications and frustrations with miscommunications. And so if anything, during this eclipse, it really helps us between this retrograde and also the eclipse to really look at how we come to the table, how we deal with those types of aspects, fears, anxieties, trust in our work, faith in how we handle difficult situations, and instead allow us to release what doesn't serve us, embrace what is going well and what we do right, how we handle the situations correctly, and more importantly, how we stand up for ourselves as well, how we speak our truth, and get our I can't swear on this, but get our crumb together with the Knight of Wands. This allows us to embrace that change not only with enthusiasm, but more importantly, take swift action, thrive on challenge, and refocus our energies on our career. This is where it's like you're getting your feet back on the ground, you're releasing what doesn't serve you, what isn't working, and you're moving quite swiftly towards what does, with enthusiasm, with enterprising, but also with assured growth. And again, this speaks over towards your solar plexus. This is about if you've had your foundation really quite rocked in a different way, where it's basically made you question if you're strong enough, if you're capable, if it's made you question if you are enough, or if you need to, if you don't have what it takes, I guess is how I would put it. What this time really does for us with this eclipse, and then also these retrograde periods, is it looks at what needs to change, and it allows us to shed those pieces, and more importantly, step into the Nine of Cups and really walk wholeheartedly, say that 10 times fast, wholeheartedly into our wishes, into our greatest masterpiece, into what we truly want and have been called to do in this life. And if that resonates, like I say, by all means, share your thoughts, share your story in the comments below, because this energy is quite powerful this week. Now, also, too, if you need some inspiration or just need a little lift up, we here on the Honey Sea Star Tarot are with you. And so check out the Honey Sea Star store. All the designs are meant to inspire, uplift, and empower. If you don't see your power word on there, though, put it in the comments below. Let's design it together. And then more importantly, let's share it through the Honey Sea Star Store so that we can help as many Virgos rise as the phoenix that we all are during this time. Now, Spirit, before we go, give us some additional messages. What additional wisdom can you lend us to guide us through this eclipse? Thank you. Okay. So what Spirit really wants to remind you is that truly now is the time to remember your power and remember just how strong you are. You are an old soul with the Black Jaguar, and this is the time to really walk through life with confidence and with grace. Spirit wants you to know that you have power from beyond this world. Focus on what you really want. You can create your dreams. And so this is really with this eclipse, if you've been feeling like you've been settling, or that through everything that you've had go on, that maybe there was just too many closed doors and it wasn't meant to be. Spirit is saying, no, don't sell yourself short. Don't shortchange yourself for a minute. Remember, this is the time to realign and refine. Look at what's going well, what needs to be adjusted. Change is inevitable. That's the one thing in life that we can always count on. But more importantly, how can we go and create doable actions, conquerable actions that lead us to increased clarity, increased integrity, that allow us to shake off those old parts of us that tell us we can't, and instead decide that we will, to fly like the phoenix, to rise like the phoenix. I'm just saying. So I did also want to go ahead and look at the music therapy piece here as well as the color therapy. And this is quite interesting as well. So what we pulled color therapy-wise was magentas and purples. This really is where Spirit is just crying and screaming to you that really remember the power that is within you. Remember just how powerful you are, because truly you are divine in flesh and bone. And then with the music piece, sorry, I don't know why I can't talk here all of a sudden, but we pulled the B and the A. And then chakra-wise too, what we really pulled here quite a bit with a focus is your sacral chakra, and then also your connection to your third eye. This is about trusting your intuition, trusting your faith, and holding your vision without attachment, but more importantly, knowing and trusting that you are a creative being. You are a divine being. It's okay to allow yourself to grieve for the things that need to end, but more importantly, improving each and every day, allowing yourself to seek and enjoy pleasures, to learn and use the past as a tool to move yourself forward in your present everyday life is really the freeing, the chakra aligning that is needed at this time during this eclipse. And if that resonates, like I say, by all means, please like, share, subscribe. That way we can get this message out to as many Virgos as we can to help lift each other up, set each other up for success during this eclipse, and more importantly, set the stage going forward as we walk forward and look forward towards that sun eclipse that's happening at the end of March. So either way, I truly hope that this reading helps, and I am sending all my love and light to you. Happy full worm moon. I don't know why that sounds so weird. And also to happy blood moon eclipse. I'm sending all my love and light. Take care, and I'll see you in the next reading.